The message came on a quiet Tuesday morning. At first, it was just a strange pattern of signals picked up by radio telescopes around the world. But within hours, every computer screen, every television, and every phone displayed the same 5 words. Hide. They are coming. Run now. Captain James Walker stood in the United Nations Emergency Council room, his blue uniform crisp despite the chaos around him. He watched as world leaders argued through video screens, their faces pale with fear. At 52, Walker had spent 30 years in the Global Defense Force, but nothing had prepared him for this. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, his deep voice cutting through the noise. "We have 72 hours at most. The objects we've detected past Mars are moving too fast to be natural." He pointed to the large screen behind him, showing 9 massive shapes getting closer to Earth. An Indian general spoke up. "How can we be sure this is a threat? Perhaps they come in peace." Walker played the second message, the one that had arrived just an hour ago. The room fell silent as they watched the short video. Burning worlds, entire civilizations falling, and strange ships darkening the skies of countless planets. "This warning," Walker said, "came from someone trying to save us, someone who's seen this before." The president of the African Union leaned forward. "What do you suggest, Captain?" Walker had spent the last 6 hours preparing for this question. He pressed a button, and a detailed plan appeared on everyone's screens. "We need to unite, not just as allies, but as one human force. We have 3 days to move our critical resources underground, to get as many people to safety as possible." "Underground," someone scoffed. "Like rats." "Like survivors," Walker corrected. He showed them another image, a network of existing bunkers, subway systems, and natural cave networks. "We've been building these facilities for decades, preparing for nuclear war. Now they'll serve a different purpose." The Chinese premier's voice was steady. "You think we can't fight them directly? Look at the size of those ships," Walker said. "Each one is bigger than Manhattan. We're not ready for a direct fight. Not yet. But we can prepare, adapt, and survive." As the meeting continued, things moved quickly. For the first time in human history, every nation agreed on a single course of action. Military commands were unified. Borders were opened for evacuation. The Global Defense Force, once a peacekeeping symbol, became humanity's shield. Over the next 2 days, the world changed. Millions of people moved underground. Essential supplies, technology, and knowledge were hidden away. Military vehicles and weapons were camouflaged or stored in mountain bases. Walker worked without sleep, coordinating movements from the new command center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. His team tracked the alien ships as they entered the solar system, passing Jupiter's orbit in mere hours. On the 3rd day, Walker stood in his command room, watching the main screen with tired eyes. Next to him, his second-in-command, Major Lisa Reed, handed him a cup of coffee. "The civilian evacuations are at 60%, she reported. "We need more time." Walker shook his head. "We're out of time." The first ship appeared in Earth's orbit, massive and dark, blocking out the stars. 8 more followed, spreading out to surround the planet. They were sleek, alien, and terrifying, like massive predators surrounding their prey. The final message from the unknown warning sender came through. "We tried to give you time. Now do what we couldn't. Survive. Humanity is different. You have a strength we didn't. Don't let them take it from you." As the alien ships took position around Earth, Walker sent one last message to all human forces. "Remember your training. Remember your humanity. They expect us to surrender or die. We're going to show them something new. We're going to show them how humans fight when everything is at stake." The first shots were fired at dawn. The sky turned red with energy weapons, and Earth's last stand began. But unknown to the invaders, this wasn't going to be a simple conquest. This was going to be the beginning of humanity's greatest story. Nobody expected the attack to start with silence. The massive ships hanging above Earth's cities didn't fire weapons or drop bombs. Instead, they released clouds of shimmering purple mist that slowly drifted down toward the ground. In his underground command center, Captain Walker watched the readings with growing horror. "It's not poison," he said, looking at the test results. "It's worse. The alien mist contained tiny machines, smaller than cells, that were programmed to rewrite human DNA." The first screams started in Tokyo. People who hadn't made it to the bunkers began to change. Their skin turned gray, their eyes became black, and they fell to the ground in pain. Within hours, billions were affected. Major Reed rushed into Walker's command room, her face pale. "Sir, we've lost contact with London, New York, and Beijing." The surface cameras show. She couldn't finish the sentence. Walker looked at the screens. The cities he had sworn to protect were turning into graveyards. The infected humans weren't dying. They were becoming something else, something that wasn't human anymore. "Get me the resistance channel," Walker ordered. It was their backup plan, a secret network connecting all the underground bases. "All units, initiate Protocol Dark Shield. Seal all bunkers. No one goes in or out until we understand what we're dealing with." The next 48 hours were the longest of humanity's history. From their underground shelters, the survivors watched their world change. The alien mist covered every continent, transforming or killing most of the surface population. In a secured lab deep underground, Dr. Tom Miller worked without sleep, studying samples of the purple mist. "Captain," he called Walker on the third day, "you need to see this." Walker stood in the lab, looking through a microscope at the tiny machines. Dr. Miller pointed at the screen showing their structure. "These weren't made to kill us," he explained. "They were made to change us, to make us controllable." "Like slaves," Walker said quietly. "Yes, but it's failing on some people. About 20% of humans are naturally immune. The machines can't change their DNA." This was the first piece of good news in days. Walker immediately called a meeting of all surviving military leaders through the resistance channel. Representatives from different bunkers around the world appeared on screens in the command center. "We're not beaten," Walker told them. "The enemy thought this attack would finish us, but they were wrong. We have millions of survivors in the bunkers. We have immune people who can fight on the surface. And most importantly, we have something they didn't expect. We're still human." Colonel Mark Thompson from the Australian bunker spoke up. "What about our weapons? Our missiles didn't even scratch their ships." "Then we'll find new weapons," Walker said. "We'll study their technology. We'll learn their weaknesses. They think they've won, that we'll hide underground forever. But they don't know humans very well." Major Reed walked in with a new report. "Sir, we're getting signals from small groups of surface survivors. Immune people are forming resistance cells in the ruins. They're asking for guidance." Walker looked at the map showing the surviving human strongholds scattered across the planet. Each point of light represented hope, hope that humanity wouldn't go quietly into extinction. "Send them this message," he said. "Hold on. Stay hidden. Build your strength. This isn't the end of humanity. It's the beginning of our fight back. Those aliens up there think they've conquered Earth, but all they've done is make us angry. And they're about to learn what happens when humans get angry." In the ruins of what was once New York, a group of immune survivors received Walker's message. They looked up at the alien ships still hovering in the sky, then at each other. Without words, they began gathering weapons, preparing for a war unlike any in human history. The fall of Earth was complete. But the real battle was just beginning. Dr. Anna Thompson hadn't slept in 3 days. Her underground lab was filled with blood samples from immune survivors, and she was close to understanding why some humans resisted the alien transformation. Very close. "Run it again," she told her computer, drinking her 6th cup of coffee. The machine hummed as it compared DNA samples from immune and transformed humans. This time, something new appeared on her screen. Her hand shook as she reached for the phone. "Get me Captain Walker. Now." 20 minutes later, Walker stood in her lab, looking at the complex diagrams on her screens. "Make it simple, Doctor. What am I looking at?" Anna pointed to two DNA strands. "This is why we're special, Captain. Human brains are different. Every other species the aliens conquered could be controlled through their nervous system. But humans," she smiled for the first time in weeks, "we're hardwired for freedom." "Explain," Walker said, leaning closer to the screen. "Our brains develop differently from other species. We have natural barriers, biological firewalls, you could say. The aliens' control signals can't get through. That's why they tried to change our DNA instead. But even that only works on some of us." Walker thought about the implications. "Can we use this? Turn it into a weapon?" "Better," Anna said, pulling up another screen. "I think we can use it to free the others. The transformed humans aren't dead. They're trapped. If we can break the aliens' control signal." The door burst open. Major Reed rushed in, her face excited. "Sir, you need to see this. We captured one of them. A real alien." The prisoner was held in a secure room deep underground. It was tall, with gray skin and 4 arms, wearing some kind of mechanical suit. Walker and Anna stood behind thick glass, watching it. "It's trying to send signals," Anna said, looking at her instruments. "But they're not getting through our shielding." The alien spoke, its voice translated by a computer. "You should be slaves." "Why aren't you slaves?" Walker stepped closer to the glass. "Because we're human. We don't do well with slavery." "Impossible," the alien said. "All species submit to the control signal. All species serve the Dominion." Anna checked her readings. "Captain, it's suit. It's not just armor. It's a control device. They're slaves too." This changed everything. Walker called an emergency meeting of the resistance leadership. Representatives from bunkers worldwide watched as Anna explained her discovery. "The aliens aren't our real enemy," she said. "They're slaves, just like the transformed humans. There's something else controlling everything, the Dominion. And we might be the first species that can fight back." "How?" asked Colonel Thompson from Australia. Anna showed them her plan. "We can create a device that disrupts their control signals. It won't just protect us, it could free them. All of them." Walker stood up. "How long to build it?" "A week for a prototype. But we'll need test subjects. And," she hesitated, "we'll need to get close to one of their ships. The control signal is strongest there." The room was quiet as everyone considered the risk. Then Walker spoke. "If this works, we're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting for every enslaved species out there." In the following days, the resistance began preparing for their riskiest mission yet. Teams of immune soldiers trained while Anna and her scientists built the disruption device. They called it the Liberator. One evening, as they worked, Anna found Walker staring at the surface cameras, showing the transformed humans wandering the ruined cities. "We'll get them back," she promised. Walker nodded. "And then we'll free everyone else." The Dominion thought they broke us. Instead, they just showed us what we're really capable of. Above them, the alien ships still hung in the sky, unaware that deep underground, humanity had discovered their greatest weakness and humanity's greatest strength. Commander Robert Stone crouched in the ruins of Denver, watching the alien patrol pass by. Their huge ship cast a shadow over the empty city, but Stone wasn't afraid anymore. He touched the small device on his belt, Anna's Liberator prototype. It was time to test it. "All teams in position." Major Reed's voice whispered through his radio. Immune soldiers were hidden throughout the ruins, waiting for his signal. Stone pressed the button. The Liberator hummed to life, sending out invisible waves that disrupted the alien control signals. At first, nothing happened. Then the transformed humans patrolling the streets began to shake. "Now," Stone shouted. His teams burst from hiding, running to help the falling humans. The alien guards raised their weapons, but they too began trembling as the Liberator's range increased. In the command center, Walker and Anna watched through helmet cameras. It's working, Anna said, checking her readings. The control signal is breaking down. The transformed humans were changing back. Their gray skin returned to normal. Their black eyes cleared. They looked around in confusion, then terror as memories flooded back. But the biggest surprise came from the alien guards. As their control suits failed, they dropped their weapons and ripped off their helmets. One of them spoke in broken English through its translator. "Free. We are free." Stone's radio crackled. "Sir, the ship. Look at the ship." The massive alien vessel was powering up its engines. Without its controlled soldiers, it was defenseless. As it tried to rise, hidden resistance fighters launched captured alien weapons. The ship's shields flickered and failed. "Bring it down," Stone ordered. "Don't destroy it. We need it." The ship crashed into an empty part of the city, relatively intact. Within hours, the resistance had secured the area. Hundreds of freed humans and aliens were being treated in makeshift medical centers. Walker arrived by helicopter to see the victory firsthand. He found Stone studying the captured ship with the freed alien commander. "The Dominion will send more ships," the alien said. Its name was Karn, and it had been a slave for centuries. "But this ship, it has weapons, communication systems, everything you need to fight back." Anna was already inside the ship with her team, downloading data. "Captain, this is incredible. Their entire network. We can see everything. Other resistance movements, slave species, even." She paused. "We're not alone. Other species are fighting back too. They just needed someone to show them it was possible." Walker gathered everyone, humans and freed aliens alike, for a meeting in an old stadium. The crowd was a strange mix. Former enemies now united by freedom. "Today, we proved something," Walker said, his voice echoing across the stadium. "We proved that the Dominion can be fought. Their control can be broken. And most importantly, we proved that we're stronger together than apart." Karn stepped forward. "My people will help you. We know their weapons, their ships, their tactics. Together, we can free others." The next few days were busy. The resistance grew as more humans were freed. The captured ship became their new command center. Freed aliens taught humans how to use advanced weapons, while humans taught aliens about guerrilla warfare. Stone stood with Walker, watching humans and aliens train together. "Did you ever think we'd be here?" he asked, "working with aliens to save the galaxy?" Walker smiled. "Humans adapt. It's what we do best. The Dominion thought they could break us. Instead, they gave us a reason to become something greater." Above them, the remaining alien ships were pulling back, retreating to higher orbits. They had lost their ground forces, lost their advantage, and for the first time, lost a planet they had attacked. The message spread across the galaxy. Earth had not fallen. Humans had not surrendered, and the Dominion was no longer invincible. The captured alien ship's communication room buzzed with activity. Messages were coming in from across the galaxy. Other species asking for help, sharing information, offering support. Earth had become a beacon of hope. Walker stood with Karn, reading the latest messages. "How many species are under Dominion control?" he asked. 47 major civilizations, Karn replied. "My people, the Argon, were among the first to fall. We fought for 3 days. You humans fought for months, and still stand." Anna burst into the room, holding a tablet. "Captain, we've made contact with the Resistance on Karn's homeworld. They're ready to help us test the improved Liberator." The new version of the Liberator was bigger, stronger, and could free thousands at once. But they needed to test it on different species, make sure it was safe for everyone. Using the captured ship's teleporter, technology that still amazed the humans, Walker led a team to the Argon homeworld. They emerged in an underground base similar to Earth's bunkers. The Argon resistance leaders looked like Karn, tall, four-armed, with gray skin. But their eyes showed the same fire for freedom that Walker saw in human fighters. "Welcome, Earth warriors," their leader said through a translator. "Show us how to break these chains." The test was successful. The Liberator freed hundreds of controlled Argons who immediately joined their resistance. More importantly, they had ships, lots of ships, hidden away for centuries. Back on Earth, Major Reed coordinated with other resistance movements. The captured ship's computers showed hidden rebel bases on every conquered world. Soon, plans were being made, strategies shared. The Dominion's weakness, Stone explained in a global meeting, is that they rely too much on control. They never expected their slaves to fight back. They have no backup plan. The next month was busy. Earth became the training ground for a new kind of army. Freed aliens arrived in secret to learn human guerrilla tactics. Humans learned to pilot alien ships and use advanced weapons. Knowledge flowed freely between species. In her lab, Anna worked with scientists from 6 different species. Each brought new insights, new technologies. "The Dominion took our freedom," she told Walker during a break, "but they gave us unity. Every species adds something unique to the fight." The alien scientists were amazed by human creativity. Where they saw weapons, humans saw tools. Where they saw obstacles, humans found opportunities. The human habit of thinking outside the box was revolutionary to species trained to obey for centuries. One evening, Walker found Karn studying Earth's history books. "Your people," Karn said, "have fought so many wars among themselves. We thought this made you weak. Now I understand. It made you strong. You never stopped learning, never stopped fighting for freedom." The Alliance, as they called it, grew stronger each day. Earth's underground bases became galactic command centers. The resistance movements on different worlds coordinated their actions. The Dominion, for the first time in its history, faced an enemy it couldn't control. In the captured ship's main hall, now decorated with flags from Earth and allied worlds, Walker addressed the gathered representatives. Humans stood shoulder to shoulder with aliens of all shapes and sizes, all united in purpose. "The Dominion thought they could enslave us all," he said. "Instead, they brought us together. Every species here has something to fight for, something to teach, something to learn. Together, we're not just fighting for our worlds, we're fighting for a free galaxy." The cheers that followed needed no translation. Hope, it seemed, was universal. And for the first time since the invasion, the future looked bright not just for Earth, but for every enslaved world in the galaxy. The first strike happened at dawn. 100 ships, human and alien together, appeared above the Dominion's largest control center on Mars. Inside the lead ship, Commander Stone watched the enemy scramble to respond. "Remember," he said to his mixed crew of humans and aliens, "they're not our real enemies. Use the Liberators first, weapons only if necessary." The battle that followed was unlike anything in human history. The Liberator waves hit first, breaking the Dominion's control over their slave soldiers. As confused troops fought to understand what was happening, Alliance forces moved in. Back on Earth, Walker coordinated the global attack from the captured ship's command center. "All sectors, report in," he ordered. "Australia base here. 3 Dominion ships disabled. Crews freed. Europe command. Control centers falling like dominoes. Asian Alliance. Their defense grid is down." Major Reed burst into the command center. "Sir, look at this." She pointed to the main screen, where something incredible was happening. Freed ships weren't just standing down. They were turning to fight alongside the Alliance. In orbit, Stone's ship rocked with explosions. A few Dominion commanders had survived, sealed in shielded rooms, and they fought desperately. But they were outnumbered now, facing their own freed troops. "Sir," his pilot called out, "we're picking up signals. Hundreds of them. Ships coming out of light speed." Stone held his breath, expecting Dominion reinforcements. Instead, the ships that appeared bore the marks of other resistance movements. The messages poured in. "Argon Free Fleet, reporting for duty. Centauri Resistance, standing with Earth. Proxima Liberation Force, ready to fight. Anna's voice came over the command channel. The improved Liberator is working better than we hoped. Each freed ship is helping to free others. It's creating a chain reaction. The battle raged for hours. Dominion control centers fell one by one. Ships were disabled, crews freed, and immediately joined the fight. The enemy's greatest weapon, their control over others, had become their greatest weakness. But victory came with a price. Some Dominion ships, commanded by die-hard loyalists, chose to self-destruct rather than be captured. Alliance ships were damaged or destroyed protecting others. Every species lost brave fighters that day. By sunset, Earth's skies were clear of enemy ships for the first time since the invasion. The Alliance fleet hung in orbit, a mix of human and alien vessels standing guard over the free planet. In the aftermath, as medical ships treated the wounded and rescue teams helped the newly freed, Walker received an urgent message from the Alliance's deep space monitors. "Captain," Karn said, studying the data, "we found it. The source of all control signals. The Dominion's central hub." The room fell silent. They all knew what this meant. The hub was the heart of the Dominion's power, the place from which they controlled their entire empire. It had been hidden for centuries, protected by the largest fleet in the galaxy. Walker looked at the tactical display. The hub was massive. A space station bigger than Earth's moon, surrounded by thousands of ships. But now, for the first time, they had a chance to strike at it. "Send word to all Alliance forces," he ordered. "The real battle is about to begin." Around the room, humans and aliens nodded in agreement. They had freed Earth, but their fight wasn't over. Billions still lived under Dominion control, and the Alliance had promised to free them all. Stone's voice came over the comm. "The fleet is ready, Stir. Every freed world is sending ships. We'll have the largest force ever assembled." Walker looked at the faces around him. Human, Argon, and a dozen other species all united. "Then let's finish this," he said. "Let's show the Dominion that the galaxy isn't theirs to control anymore." The Alliance fleet began to gather. The final battle for freedom was about to begin. The Alliance fleet dropped out of light speed near the Dominion's central hub. 10,000 ships from every freed world in the galaxy faced the massive space station. Captain Walker stood on his command ship's bridge, Earth's flag displayed proudly beside those of their allies. "All ships report ready," Major Reed announced. "The Argon fleet is in position. Human forces are standing by. All Liberator devices are at full power." This was humanity's greatest moment, not just fighting for themselves, but leading the charge to free the galaxy. The Dominion's defense fleet was huge, but the Alliance had something stronger than numbers. They had hope. "Send the message," Walker ordered. His words were broadcast to every ship in both fleets. "To all Dominion forces, we offer you one chance. Your control over others ends today. Surrender, and you'll be freed, not destroyed." The response came quickly, a barrage of energy weapons that lit up space like a new sun. The battle began. Stone's fighter squadrons led the first wave, human pilots flying alongside alien allies. They were smaller and faster than the Dominion's huge warships, perfect for delivering the Liberator's signal up close. "This is for Earth." Stone called as his squadron dove through enemy fire. The improved Liberators activated, their power amplified by the Alliance fleet's combined technology. Across the battlefield, Dominion ships began to stop firing as their crews broke free of control. In her science ship, Anna monitored the signals. "It's working. The control network is failing." But then she saw something new. "Captain, we've got a problem. The hub is generating a new type of control wave. They're trying to re-enslave the freed ships." Walker knew they had one chance. "All ships, concentrate fire on these coordinates. We need a hole in their defenses." The Alliance fleet moved like one body, human ingenuity combining with alien technology. They punched through the Dominion's lines, clearing a path to the hub. Walker's ship led the charge, taking heavy damage but pressing forward. Engineering reports shields at 20%, Reed warned. Keep going, Walker ordered. They were close enough now to see the hub's true size, an artificial world built for a single purpose: control. The final push was the hardest. The Dominion's elite guards fought desperately, but they couldn't stop the combined might of a free galaxy. Walker's ship crashed through the hub's outer docks, Alliance forces right behind him. Inside the hub, they found the truth. The Dominion wasn't a mighty empire. It was a small group of beings who had built their power on enslaving others. Their leaders cowered behind layers of security, never expecting anyone to reach them. Activate the main liberator, Walker commanded. Anna's device, powered by the combined energy of the Alliance fleet, sent its signal throughout the hub. Alarms blared as the central control system began to fail. The Dominion leaders tried to activate their final weapon, a signal that would kill their slaves rather than free them. But they never got the chance. Their own guards, now freed, stopped them. Hours later, Walker stood in the hub's main control room, watching as Alliance ships secured the station. The screen showed freed worlds celebrating across the galaxy. Centuries of slavery had ended in a single day. Karn approached with news. The last Dominion loyalists have surrendered. The control network is completely down. The galaxy is free. Walker looked at the celebration around him. Humans, Argons, and a dozen other species together. Not just free, he said. United. In the days that followed, the Alliance began the work of rebuilding. Earth led the way, showing other worlds how to rebuild, how to recover, how to be free again. The former Dominion worlds joined the Alliance one by one, creating something new, a galaxy of equals. The story spread across the stars, how humanity had not only survived, but had led the fight that freed everyone, how a single planet's resistance had sparked a revolution, how the galaxy had cowered, but humans had fought back, and they had won.